So if you need to set up a Swan, this is all the equipment that you're gonna need. First things first, you're gonna need a liter of D5 1/4 prime, and then you're going to need a 500 bag of NS. You're going to need a pressure bag, of course, just one. You're going to need, I don't even know what to properly call this, but a hemodynamics gun is what it's sometimes referred to. That's in the clean hold. You're gonna need a pressure monitoring set for transducer. And then this is in the CSICU clean hold, hopefully, and everyone else's clean hold soon. And we'll go over more about what that looks like. You're gonna need your Swan. So there are three types of Swans. There's a regular Swan, there's a CCO Swan, and then today we're gonna be using the Swan GANs with a VIP port. I'll explain the difference, but just make sure if you're gonna set it up this way, you have a Swan GANs VIP. It says VIP twice. This is an SI's clean hold as well. And then the last, most crucial piece, so that your Philips monitor can actually read your Swan numbers, is gonna be the Swan box and pressure cable. So they go together. We call it the orange box in cardiac SI, but it goes with the orange transducer, and they go together. And I'll show you guys how to set that up once we're all done. So, first things first, you are going to want to prime your transducer set. So it looks like this. Obviously, if you are going to be putting in a Swan and doing a sterile procedure with a physician at bedside, you're going to want to make sure that this stays as sterile as possible. But we're going to want to prime this all before we can go ahead and prime our Swan. So you prime it just how you would any other line, art line, CVP. Should probably have gloves on. But it all comes off of one system, so this kind of eliminates your need to have a bunch of pressure bags going, so one for your art line, one for your CVP, one for your Swan, which is what's really nice about this 4 transducer system. So you're gonna go ahead and make sure you get all the air out like we always do, so poke and squeeze. And then I always tell people, please don't put your pressure bag on, because you can actually send micro bubbles through the system if you are going to prime and then also put your pressure bag on at the same time. And then find somewhere to hang it. Oh, thanks. We got a pool coming. Thank you much. And then obviously if you're one person, it's sometimes nice to have a buddy that can help you prime. But the first thing you're gonna wanna do is, if you're OCD like me, is make sure that everything is kind of all situated nicely. Is you're gonna clamp every single white clamp except the one line that you wanna prime, because there's no way for us to prime the whole system while they're all open. We gotta do one at a time. So the first thing that's important is that with each of these lines, you are priming every single area that anything can come out. So meaning these areas with stopcocks or caps, we're gonna wanna prime as well. So you're gonna turn that off and then prime it through. Let's hope it comes, and then you see that. And then we would replace it with a cap. I don't think a lot of people know this, but you can go ahead and use the white caps that are actually in the set. Turn that off, turn that down. Do you guys want to, or can you guys see this so that you guys can teach this? Okay. Prime it through. And then obviously if you're going to do this with a provider, we obviously want this to be as sterile as possible. So think sterile field, sterile gloves, etc. Then you're going to take this one off and prime this through, just like you would your regular line. And some people prime the whole line and then do these little areas individually. It's totally up to you. There's no right or wrong way. And then I'll prime it through to make sure that you don't have any bubbles. I just like to go back through the line, work my way up. Okay, we're good. One line down. You're gonna do the same thing with the next 3. Which I don't know if we need to video all of it, but we definitely can. You're gonna clamp the green one that you just did. Pull through, cap, turn, pull through, cap, and turn. And then once again, you're gonna have a lot of little extra pigtail parts on these 4 transducers that you're gonna need to make sure are primed through. So similar concept, we're gonna turn this off this way, prime this guy. So as long as you have your actual bag of D5 1/4 hanging up there, you should be able to prime it without needing a pressure bag anyway. So there you go, blue's done. We're gonna clamp blue, go to yellow.